Woo!
Like
So welcome to. Oh, we're on live. We're on air now. Yeah, I should say that.
We're not doing live.
No, we're already live, man. It's too late.
I guess we'll do it.
Welcome to the Untitled podcast number 51.
Yay!
So it's just the sad and lonely hour with 4D Mike and Stabby here.
Because everyone hates us.
Woohoo! Does everyone hate us? Really? I don't know. Maybe I should read more comments.
I assume so.
Oh, I did want to kick this one off with an actual, like a really fun follow-up to something we've talked about before.
Do it.
You remember, what was her name? Bahar Mustafa?
Yeah.
The girl who was running the diversity thing and was like, white men not allowed.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess she's no longer the student diversity officer.
But she was so diverse.
Yeah. She quit because she's accusing everybody of bullying her, but because apparently people don't like racists.
Well, yeah.
She is done. She was actually arrested and charged with sending malicious communications too at some point.
Ow.
Oh, for the fucking hashtag kill all white men. That's dumb.
So I guess
I don't agree with that.
I guess the thrill of this new movement to get behind is over, and people are starting to be like, wait a minute, there's some really crazy shit going on here.
Well, that depends on what area you're looking at, because I do have...
Well, I've noticed a couple of these SJW people.
It's starting to catch up with people.
Like that. Like people are like, "Oh, wow, I didn't know they were like that."
There was one thing I heard about. I can't confirm, but the sources I've heard it from are fairly reliable. So I'd say it's pretty likely that it did occur. It just didn't get much press. There was apparently a newspaper burning on a campus somewhere in the U.S.
No.
Where they literally took a bunch of papers that weren't left-wing enough and just burned them in like a group. And I don't know that I disbelieve that, because I know that there's been like symbolic book burnings.
I know there's Godwin's fallacy, but what about when they're actually doing shit like
yeah, I know,
burning newspapers and trying to get rid of ideas?
They've already tried to shut down newspapers. I've seen that before. They'll definitely try that. That's the no platforming thing. That's what they call it.
A time where they tried to they're like, oh, newspaper doesn't agree with us, shut it down.
Yeah, I just like, well, that's why I think the First Amendment really is the most important, because that's the key to organization and preventing further tyranny. Like, you take away freedom of speech, it becomes much easier to take away the rest of the civil rights.
Yeah. Well, at that point, you're trying to control thoughts.
Yeah.
Control the spread of thoughts.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things I've noticed that a lot of SJW type groups are doing that I really, really don't agree with, is they're trying to take over what is and isn't allowed to be taught at universities and schools.
Yeah. And
I don't really agree with that, because a lot of what they're trying to teach is bigotry and hatred. It's not at all like equality. You know,
but it's bigotry and hatred towards the people they personally don't like. So that's good.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's starting to bite them a little bit. They're starting to be like weird groups that are splintering off and like hating the original people, and they're getting rid of some of the teachers that were teaching some of the stuff, and like in the name of diversity and shit like that.
That's because you got to toe the line. What if you don't toe it good enough?
Well, it's that whole concept of everything has to be equal, even if it's unrealistic to make that equal, kind of thing. Like, by enforcing, what do you call it? Where you have to hire a certain percentage of each group of people.
Oh yeah.
You're basically
this artificial equality.
You're creating like a tyranny where people who might be more qualified for the job can't get it because they're not the right color. It's like a knife that cuts both ways, essentially. It's something you really have to be careful of.
Yeah, the problem isn't that they're not getting hired. The problem is that they're not usually getting enough education to get to the position where they might get hired.
Oh, I fully agree with that. I have no problem with that.
They're just like, oh well, we'll just solve that problem by just sticking them in the position, and it'll all work out great.
Yeah, it's like, first start off with going after like the inner city schools that are being basically starved of resources to teach students. And let's work on getting some more realistic wages for everybody so that it's not so desperate where basically drug dealing is the only way to make enough money to pay for your family to get, stay alive.
Drugs is good money.
Well, working any job that they can get, it pays so little that they either have to hope that they qualify for some form of benefits from the government or do something illegal to get the extra money they need to get by. And people aren't just going to watch their fucking kids starve.
Oh, no.
That's just reality. And I don't know that that's entirely just a race thing as much as just a societal thing right now in general.
The schools that do get money, they piss it away on shit that doesn't matter. It's like you could be getting stuff that will actually benefit kids, and they're like, we got a fancy new sign for $15,000.
Yeah, shit like that.
And now we have to fight off a lawsuit because of all the pissed off people that are like, why are you wasting money on a new fancy sign?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about your football fucking scoreboard. Why are the math books 15 years back from where they should be?
Why are you complaining about not having books when you just got a brand new fancy fucking sign that no one knows how to fucking work? I drive by it every fucking morning and they don't know how it fucking works.
Oh yeah.
And they spent like $20,000 and now they're spending even more money to fend off a lawsuit.
Well, one of the problems that comes up is when people donate amounts of money, they can actually donate them with ear tags. This is something we come against where I work. Like we absolutely appreciate the donations and we'll absolutely use them to the best we can. But sometimes it'll be like this donation is for this, and then we kind of have to use it for that.
You don't have a choice.
In most cases, yeah, it can actually be donated like specifically for this or that. Like in some cases, it works out really well. There was a really large donation to the company I work for, and it was set up in trust specifically to pay for the medical insurance of the employees that work full time. So if you work full time where I work, you don't cover any of the costs of your medical dental insurance.
Yeah, it can be good.
And it's good because the company I work for can't touch that money and then spend it on other shit and say, fuck the employees.
Exactly.
But it becomes bad when it's like, well, we'll pay for you guys to get like cake. Well, great. Cake is nice, but it's not fucking helpful. Now we just have a bunch of diabetic clients. Good job, buddy. We could have fixed the roof with some of that money. Like that kind of thing.
Well, now we have a giant electronic cake in front of the school. Yeah. It makes me mad every time I drive by it.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it's like we don't want to discourage people from donating because then it's like, well, if you feel like,
I think this was
just anybody that's ungrateful. It's like
this was taxpayer money. Like
that was taxpayer money in that case. Oh, well, that's different.
That's why everyone's so pissed about it.
Oh yeah, well yeah, you just fucking blew all the fucking money.
They just blew all the money basically for the year, and then it's like they got a sign they can't work.
Yeah, why not get new books? Why not, fucking replace all the Mark Twain books with unedited versions because you can't fucking change history, you retards.
Oh, you can. Go ask an SJW.
Yeah.
They will do it.
Oh, speaking of that, okay, that actually, I have something that's sort of about that, which is actually kind of funny.
Segue.
It's not an SJW thing, but it is like, I guess it might be. I don't know. It might be.
Just say it is.
Okay, so Winnie the Pooh's skull on display at London Museum.
Finally.
The skull of the bear that was the inspiration for Winnie the Pooh was put on display for the first time at the Hunterian Museum in London, photo by Royal College of Surgeons. So supposedly, these people think that Winnie the Pooh is inspired by a bear that was in one of the zoos called Winnie.
Sure.
And it's absolutely not true.
Okay.
Winnie the Pooh is inspired by the writer's actual nephew,
Christopher Robin,
and his actual stuffed animals that he fucking owned.
Okay,
sure. Nothing to do with anybody else.
Sure. Okay.
And that's sort of like changing the whole thing. They're like, no, Winnie the Pooh was really a girl because Winnie was based on Winnie the Bear, this other like zoo and shit.
Jesus, a newborn abandoned in a New York nativity. What the fuck?
I think it's disturbing as fuck where they're just like, okay, that's kind of funny.
That's fucked.
It's ironic and terrible, but it is kind of funny at the same time.
His name was Jesus.
Yeah.
Freak.
It actually was the second coming of Jesus. We're fucked.
So so they're basically just like Winnie the Pooh skull, and it's not really.
No, it's just some. Well, it was a really popular bear, like at the time that it was being displayed at the zoo.
Oh yeah.
I also think showing the skull of a favorite children's animal is really fucking weird. Not cool.
Yeah, that is kind of weird, isn't it? It's like, look, kids,
man.
the skull of Garfield, and they're like, ah.
Oh god. So I'll show the article, but most of it doesn't really like. I don't really care about the majority of it because it's kind of stuff we've already talked about.
They might as well show Bambi's mother's skull.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up.
Here's Bambi's horns, kids. We took them off his dead fucking corpse after we shot him.
We beheaded his mother and put her on display.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Here's Rudolph's nose, it still lights up.
Yeah, well, you got to have some LEDs.
Actually, there's a city nearby where I live where it's you have to drive through it to get to the coast, and one of the houses that's more prominently noticeable on there has during Christmas it displays an actual deer's head with a lit nose.
Jesus,
on the porch.
Wow.
It's like an actually trophy hunted deer's head with the fucking lit nose.
That's hardcore.
And they drape like Christmas lights in its antlers, and you just like, it's really twisted, man.
Yeah, that deer died for that shit.
Well, I'm sure they ate the rest of the deer. As long as you're eating the animal, I don't really have a lot of objection to it. I'm not a huge fan of trophy hunting. I kind of get that people can do it, and I don't really want to argue against it because I'm just generally not against like random freedom type things. But you should really be eating what you're hunting.
Yeah.
Like the guy that killed the rhino that everybody got so pissed off at, that rhino fed like 6 villages for a while. I mean,
yeah.
I saw him
killing for no reason is, I think, what most people have against it. Like, if you're getting some use out of it, sure.
Well, the majority of the stuff that's being trophy hunted in Africa is the food is going to the local villages. They're eating it.
Yeah.
I watched an interview with the guy that paid to hunt for the rhino that got, so fucking castigated in social media.
Yeah.
And he's within 2 hours that animal was completely butchered.
Yeah.
And every scrap of usable material off of the animal was gone. Because they had, like 6 different villages ready to go, and they all just shared out the meat and everything they could use from it.
And there's even times where it's like, yeah, the animal's like dead and it's, going extinct, but this village just got fed for like a year or something because of the amount of money they made.
Well, that particular rhino was killing other rhinos and was no longer capable of breeding. So it was like double negative kind of thing.
Well, kill that fucking thing.
Yeah, and then that's when they auctioned it off, and then they made a bunch of money to pay for the preserves and stuff like that, and they got rid of a dangerous, animal that wasn't very conducive to having more rhinos.
Sure.
Yeah,
I get that.
It's like an angry, impotent man you meet at the bar who wants to like cock block all the other guys because he can't get none.
Hey.
I didn't realize I was talking about you.
Spying on me or something? What's going on here?
Okay, this one I thought was kind of funny. I'm going to show the article, but I'm not going to like try to go through all of it because it's a pretty big fucking article.
Race matters.
So a couple of things they're trying to do. Princeton is trying to get Woodrow Wilson's name off of the campus.
Okay.
Which is annoying. Like this concept that like they shouldn't have anything to do with this guy because he did one thing amongst a group of like a huge lexicon of really good things that he did.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's ridiculous.
Well, that's like didn't like all of our founding fathers have slaves and stuff? Like,
well, yeah. And so they weren't perfect. Acknowledge that they weren't perfect, but don't pretend they've never done anything good or that the one negative thing about them just negates everything positive.
Yeah. Like they had slaves. Therefore the founding of the country was a bad thing.
Yeah, but they're also trying to get rid of the president.
Okay.
Of the university and a couple of different universities. This covers a lot of different stuff. I definitely recommend reading it, but it's a lot of stuff. I'm trying to find the place.
Was there swastikas in the bathroom?
No, this covers a lot of different universities.
Okay.
But there is one at Princeton, I believe, where they're actually arguing. I know there is a college where they're arguing for segregated housing, and I believe it's Princeton. Yeah.
So like,
they're calling it something else. I forget what they're calling it, but it's like, then they'll culturally separated housing or some nonsense like that. And so what essentially boils down to is that the black people would live with the black people and the white people would live with the white people, and nary the two shall cross, which is really fucking creepy because it's not the white people arguing for it.
It's like we're going back to the 50s and 60s, or what? Like, what's going on?
It's just insane.
I feel like this is like a decades old concept that is obviously outdated at this point.
Well, it didn't work out so good the first time. We know it ended up really negative. So why would we possibly want to encourage it to keep going?
Because this time it'll work.
It's just so fucking stupid.
This time will be different.
It's just so creepy and scary, like newspaper burnings and like segregated housing. Like, all right, man, you're scaring me now. Like, when are we going to start the gas chambers up again?
Yeah, when are we going to...
Keep in mind, the United States citizenry is armed, especially the rednecks.
When are we just going to divide the country in half and have another civil war?
Yeah, really. Oh, I mean, I don't know that it'll go to that far, but it's going to get to... it's probably going to get to a lot of violence, I would imagine.
Oh, geez.
Eventually these groups of students who are basically out preaching hatred of white people are going to get attacked by white people.
And that'll just confirm everything.
Yeah, it's like that's gonna happen. They're defacing in Harvard. I think they're defacing the portraits of black professors or something like that now. White people are.
If I go around insulting a bunch of Asian people, then the likelihood of me being attacked by an Asian person is going to increase, I'd say.
Exponentially. Yeah.
It's like, because you're attacking them. It's like, do you not understand that you're the aggressor here?
Well, the funny part is the feminists who are always calling people rapists and then wondering why nobody wants to fucking bang them. Like, well,
because they might become a rapist any minute.
They don't want to go to jail, you crazy ass bitch. Yeah. Like, that just seems like a logical conclusion to me.
It's like if they get mad at you, then all of a sudden you're a rapist. Uh-oh. Now what?
It's like, I wouldn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Keep me the fuck out. Oh, man. Oh, you heard about the thing with the Chicago, right?
Yes.
They actually arrested the officer and charged him with first-degree murder.
Oh, yeah. I did hear about that.
I thought that was actually pretty good. I'm like, well, they're actually going to have a trial. That's really good.
Yeah. He didn't get a paid fucking vacation.
Yeah.
While they investigate.
Well, I mean, it's awesome because, like, that's a really positive step towards actual accountability for police officers and taking the actions they take. Like,
we need cameras on all the officers' clothes.
Absolutely.
We really just need that now. Like yesterday, actually. Like, can we get that done now?
Although from what I've seen, like, the Justicar did a really good, like, 20-minute video where he was talking about, like, it's sort of justified but not at the same time. Like, I guess the dude had a knife and they're aware he had a knife and he was reaching for it.
Okay.
So technically they had the right to start shooting, but as soon as the guy fell to the ground, they needed to stop and they just kept going. Or the guy just kept shooting.
Yeah.
And that's where it crosses the line, legally speaking.
I'm not going to pretend that there's a gray area, but it's like sometimes you can tell. It's like you're on the darker side of the gray area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure there's a gray area, but I think it's really obviously crossed in this one. And it's really good that they're holding it to account as well, legally.
Well, if he's obviously not a threat anymore. Yeah. Like, you need to stop now.
Yeah, he absolutely should not have kept shooting. The Justicar was saying he would be more likely, like, realistically, what they should have charged him with was attempted murder, manslaughter, or like failure to cease discharging his weapon or something like that. I'm like, I don't know that I agree with that.
We definitely failed to stop discharging his weapon.
Yeah. I think murder in
agree
like
with
the
that
third
one.
degree. I don't know the first degree because you can't really argue planning in that. So what is it,
No.
like second degree or third degree? Is it in the moment, like you kill somebody in the heat of the moment, like in a moment of passion?
Yeah, it's in the moment, and it's like he's dangerous and has a lethal weapon, but at one point he's incapable of using it.
Yeah. So I would say it's like a second or third degree murder, one or the other. Isn't third degree like it happens as like the result of a crime you're committing?
I don't know.
So I think it'd probably be like second degree.
I think it's when you hear it from someone else.
It's when you hear it from someone else. Nice.
Pretty sure that's how that works. Yay.
Oh, here we go. I thought this was good.
Oh, I thought the show was over.
No. We've only been going for like 20 minutes. Good try, though. All right, here we go. $2,350 sleeping bag lets users sleep like a bear.
Okay.
So, it's like
I see a woman inside of a bear's mouth. I am down with this so far.
it's hey, Amsterdam, just in time for the holidays.
Hey, you can smoke weed there in your bear thing.
Well, this makes sense if you're in a place where you get to smoke weed.
This is weird. It's got a full bear head on it.
Yeah, it's supposed to look like a realistic bear.
Well, that's weird.
What's it? There's a Japanese shoe brand that got shut down.
Okay.
I forget what they were called, but they were shoes with a built-in camera specifically for filming upskirts.
Yeah, upskirts. Yeah, that's the thing.
So I what I don't understand is how they ended up selling them for over a year before they got shut down.
So is this like a real bear? Like, what's the catch here?
No, I think it's just a recreation.
It's $2,300.
It's a Japanese artist. Is anyone shocked?
Okay. Aiko Ishizawa.
There was a statue it's based off of.
So if I want to sleep like a log.
Oh, each sleeping bag was handmade and doubled as a bear costume when fully zipped up.
Ah.
So you could probably had like separate legs. So like they're not showing the whole thing, but I'm assuming it has like arms and legs. You can put your arms and legs in.
So if I don't want to sleep like a bear, but let's say I want to sleep like a log. Do I gotta like?
Do they have a log one?
Fucking wood costume or shit?
I don't know.
I don't get this. Like, why does it need to be a bear costume on top of it? What does that do?
Yeah. Oh, this was based on a bear that was put down in Bavaria.
It's for furries.
Yeah, you can fucking it. There you go.
I just figured it out.
Zip two bear costumes together and it gets real weird.
Good lord. It's man bear pig.
You can zip the two sleeping bags together if you've ever gone camping with a lady friend or whatever. That's not that hard to do. I'm sure that the bear costume ones would be weird.
Yeah, I've gone camping with my camp counselor before.
Okay.
Ouch. Or should I say Catholic priest? I don't know.
Oh, whichever one's more popular, I suppose.
Gets rapey.
But is it in a good way or a bad way?
I don't know.
I thought this was kind of a cute story.
Oh.
Message in a bottle on Florida beach.
Is it from her long lost lover that told her that he loved her right before he died?
I don't know. Some lady found the message in a bottle here.
I doubt it.
The translation says, "I am writing to you through means of this letter with love and a lot of faith, because you're the only one in the world that can help me with what I'm about to ask."
What is he?
Along with the prayer, the letter also contained a list of names.
Okay.
It doesn't ever say what they ask. I don't know what they ask, but I assume it's like to tell people something or other.
I'm guessing it's a message to God.
Yeah, something like that. I wouldn't be at all shocked.
I've actually seen something like this before where some guy like fished out a bag and he opened it up and there's like 300 prayer letters to some guy.
Oh, yeah. It's a prayer for the family members attempting to travel from Cuba to the United States.
Ah, see.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Which for anybody who's not from the U.S., because we have people from outside the country, Cuba and the United States aren't that far apart. And so a lot of people try to escape from Cuba via like small makeshift rafts.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous. And
really shitty
rafts. Yeah. Like tires tied together and shit with a couple of boards over the top.
And then they get to America, and we're like, nah.
If they get to America.
If they get here, then we're like, nah, I can't come in, or you're under arrest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're immigrating illegally, so at a certain point, you do have to have like, oh yeah, this is not okay.
Sure, but it's like, good Lord. That fucking sucks to be them.
Oh yeah, well, you know.
Imagine you're in Cuba and you're like, we got to get the fuck out of here. And then you survive the perilous journey and they're like, nope, sorry, we're full. You're going to have to
really.
around. It's like, no.
See ya. Oh, well, with the alien Gonzalez, the most famous little kid that came over, we just took him to Disneyland. And basically, we were like, hey, look how awesome our country is. Now get the fuck out.
Now, goodbye.
Bye.
Never see that again.
Oh God, I thought that was so fucked up. Like, we're gonna take you to Disneyland. Now get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. We should have kept him in that closet. And then we're like, this is what America's like, boy. And then
so like, he wouldn't want to come back.
And he's like, I can't wait to go home. That place is crazy. Instead, he gets Mickey Mouse.
Oh man.
I don't believe in Mickey Mouse.
I don't believe in Mickey Mouse either. I'm agnostic, so. Let's see. 6 realities in a super religious family that wants me dead.
All right.
So apparently one of the things that they'll do in the Muslim religion is if you are a young woman who goes off and lives in sin somewhere else, they are honor bound to kill you.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yep. So I guess that's one of those things. So 6, they're honor bound to kill you. 5, it dominates your whole life. Yeah, I'd be a little worried that my parents were just going to show up and fucking stab me.
And you know, the Bible asks you to do the same thing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm very aware of that.
It's just people are like, hey, we don't do that anymore. But these motherfuckers are still like halfway to medieval times and shit. It's like they need to catch up with the rest of the fucking world where it's not okay to just go and murder your fucking kid.
Yeah, this person's talking about how they couldn't just go hang out at their at the local park because the people all knew her parents would go home, and she'd get home and be told. So they'd tell her parents before she even got home.
Yeah. Oh yeah, in a close knit community like that, everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows everyone, and if you do anything out of line, everyone knows about it, and the entire community will get together to punish you for things.
Well, and they don't want you to live anywhere where you might be in contact with non-religious people.
Nah, that's because you'll get tainted.
Yeah. Well, because you might not fucking join in.
Because much like people that get on the internet in shitty, oppressed countries are like, wow, everyone around the world isn't oppressed all the time. It's like there's other ways to live that don't seem as shitty. And it's like once they know about that, it's all over. It's like once they know that there's another way to live where they don't have to be treated like shit by everyone they know.
Yeah, it suddenly becomes a lot less appealing to go back.
It's hard to go back after that,
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of green cards that are granted to people who are like, yeah, I just don't want to go back to the Muslim country I'm from.
Yeah.
They're talking about like casual acquaintances, so like your boyfriend's parents, like meet your parents and talk to them. It'd be like, that could be pretty disastrous.
Yeah. It's always disastrous for me.
The only way out is to slowly cut ties with your whole family. Yeah, that makes sense. If maintaining a relationship with your family means that at some point they may feel like they need to kill you in order to preserve their own honor, yeah, I don't think I'd want to hang with those people anymore.
Yeah, I don't really even consider that family.
Yeah, no, that would definitely be never trust a family vacation.
that's a bunch of murderers that are.
Oh, so she won't go back to Turkey because if she goes back, she will not have any rights. It's like, I would never go.
You never leave. No.
Yeah, they can't force you to leave Europe or the U.S. for the Middle East, but if you accidentally go on vacation over there, you could be fucked.
Yeah.
And if you go over there and they kill you, there's nothing that's going to happen to them. They're going to be treated like fucking heroes. So don't
do that.
Yep. That is some creepy shit. I was unaware that occurred. I
That can
saw that.
happen
And I was
to
like,
just
blew my
that can
mind.
happen to me or you. Just we go to the wrong country, do the wrong thing, didn't know about
Oh
it.
yeah, well, I mean,
now we're fucking dead.
weed is executable in the Arab Emirates,
Awesome.
and our government won't step in at all.
Yay.
If you go to the Arab Emirates, because it is a vacation hotspot, like a lot of people go to resorts there, and you smoke a little weed, they might just cut your fucking head off.
Yep.
But no, dude, we're just being culturally
You
insensitive.
should go to civilized places.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even in Mexico, where it's not technically legal, they probably just give you a fucking ticket. And
I'm
make you
very
pay $50.
Culturally insensitive against people that will fucking murder me because of how culturally insensitive they are.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, here's something I thought was pretty funny. There's a whole like cultural appropriation thing. You know who Nina Simone is?
I'm going to steal some culture, Stabby. You want to steal some culture and put it in our bag and take it away?
Yeah, because that means no one else can use it now. But you know who Nina Simone is?
Maybe. I don't know.
She does the song "Feeling Good." It's a big jazz song.
Okay.
It was actually written by a couple of pasty British white people for a musical.
No.
And it got really big because she's such an amazing singer, and the song just really worked for her voice. But she is not, in fact, the person who wrote "Feeling Good."
That happens a lot, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that happens a ton. Probably more than we really know, because a lot of times back in the day, they just didn't credit people.
Yeah.
Because it's just nobody gave a shit. You know, comics would use each other's material too, and nobody cared. That's how it was.
Yeah.
Like you go to this area, you tell these jokes because that's what those people want to hear. I just thought that was pretty funny because it was like one of those what do you call it? You would never expect kind of things.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is pretty funny. Right here. I like this. Just the first one itself. This is the 13 most insane things happening right now.
Okay. Are you going to share
13?
that with us?
Did I not share it on there?
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Okay. It just took a while to show it. Okay. The film rights to Zoe Quinn's Gamergate memoir, Crash Override, have been bought by Pascal Films.
Yay, finally.
Scarlett Johansson is rumored to be the frontrunner to star as Quinn.
Good Lord.
Like, we eagerly anticipate the mature and intelligent discourse that will no doubt follow this announcement. No.
Yeah.
I think we already knew this, that Rolling Stone is being sued by the fraternity, and they're suing Rolling Stone and the author.
Really?
In a defamation suit, because there's no reasonable, objectively, there's no way Rolling Stone should have printed that article without knowing that it was not real.
Yeah.
Like, there's no objective way you could look at that article and be like, oh, of course it happened. So like, they had a responsibility not to publish it. Yeah, so it's defamation of character.
Yeah, okay.
This one I thought was pretty good. Bloomingdale's apologized for publishing a catalog ad that hinted at date rape. I don't know if you can read this, but it says, spike your best friend's eggnog when they're not looking.
Yeah.
Just really creepy as shit. Like, that's just not funny. Oh, it's funny, but it's, like, really, come on, nobody saw that. Was
wait. Spike your best. Why is best friend like super duper?
Well, they made it that way. That's the ad. The red arrow and all this other shit is extra, but the text and these two people are the part of the ad.
I feel like they're like best friend,
isn't that what alcohol's for? Fixing the friend zone.
We want to say something else, but we're just gonna say best friend and show a dude and a chick.
Yeah. They're just acknowledging like the friend zone ending qualities of liquor.
Yeah, spike your best. So he's
so
like,
creepy.
I'm totally gonna rape the shit out of her tonight, and she's like, "What's going on? I'm dizzy."
It's really inappropriate and funny, but like, yeah, I can see them being like, "All right, maybe we went too far."
He's like, "I'm gonna totally rape her tonight."
And then they put like, "Baby, it's cold outside," like a little bit of the lyrics from that.
So we might as well bang.
Yeah.
And you don't have a choice.
This is pretty funny. Tragically, the body of 72-year-old David Lee Niles was found submerged in a car at the bottom of a pond in Michigan.
Okay.
He's been missing since 2006, and while nobody found it until the people at a nearby funeral home saw it while they were up on a lift or something decorating a tree,
Sure.
it was actually visible from Google Images or Google Maps. You could see the hood of it.
Yeah, you can.
But I mean, needle in a haystack. Who would have ever noticed that one little fucking thing in that one little area?
Yeah,
But
there's a dot in that pond right there.
Yeah.
No, you'd be surprised some of the shit that Google satellites capture and the cars driving around the street view captures.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It's like, holy shit.
Was it the Goodfellas thing that they covered the Lufthansa heist?
Okay.
Or Lufthansa, or whatever it is, the largest cash robbery in U.S. history at the time. Was a real crime that really did get committed by, we know, like this one guy and probably a bunch of other people that were killed.
Yeah. Shit, Joe Hodson.
Yeah, the Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Oh, really? They're reincarnating it. I don't really know about that.
Basically, they've got a new cast. They've got a new guy to torture with movies, and they're like announcing these deals like, for $5 million you get this many episodes, for $12 million you get this many, and then it's like, you'll notice it's a better deal for the more millions that you give us.
Yeah, that's kind of like, shitty.
I feel like I could make Mystery Science Theater episodes for way less than millions and millions.
Well, they have to buy the rights to the movies, but that's really not that much for the movies. They're buying the rights to.
They buy rights to shitty, really cheap movies.
Yeah, I don't know that I would really ever consider donating that. I don't know that I want that to come back.
I don't either. I'm done with these shows coming back 20, 30 years later. I'm done with movies rebooted or getting sequels 30 years later. It's like, just let the thing.
Oh god! Like, how many Batman movies are you gonna make?
Just let the thing stand on its own.
Yeah.
Like, fucking make some new shit. You don't have to go back and ruin old shit for me.
Yeah, like the comic book character that they came up with. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that one. That one looks really boring. But on the other hand, at least it's not something somebody's already done.
Yeah.
It's a new character. Somebody's coming up with a new character and new stories.
They're trying some new shit.
Jessica Jones on Netflix is actually pretty good. The story so far isn't quite the same as every other Marvel story.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm only about halfway through the series. Let's see here.
I don't know. I'm just, if something has been gone for 30 years, there's probably a reason. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, because that's when it's over.
Yeah, at a certain point it has to be done.
Yeah.
Here we got Joe's Crab Shack, which is a restaurant, is eliminating tipping from restaurants in some areas.
Okay.
Instead, they'll increase their server pay to $14 per hour, but will also increase their menu prices by 12 to 15%. I think that's very reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I mean, say you were going to go buy like a $10 meal, all of a sudden you're going to pay $11.50. That's it.
I've never seen a Joe's Crab Shack in my life.
Well, but I like the idea because essentially, you're increasing the prices by a very small amount.
I agree with it. It just,
and suddenly your server gets to actually pay their rent.
I thought Joe's Crab Shack was like a Looney Tunes cartoon, like it was something fake.
Oh, I don't know. I've never been there. It's not in my area either.
Eat at Joe's or whatever. But sure, I get it. Uh-oh.
So he was in a Civil War reenactment and started shooting live ammo at the fuckers.
Shit.
Oh god, nobody was injured, thankfully. Good lord.
And if he did start shooting people, it's like you have an entire field of people shooting off fake guns
and pretending to die.
How are you ever gonna fucking find that shit?
Oh god, that's so bad.
Great place to have a massacre for anyone out there wondering. Or to a war reenactment.
So this dude survived a plane crash because he was out buying Hot Pockets while the plane crashed into the building he was living in.
Hot Pockets.
Yeah, he was running errands and he was like, oh, I better go get you some Hot Pockets, and that saved this motherfucker's life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, Hot Pockets are wonderful, man.
You know what they're you know what the jingle is in Spanish for Hot Pockets?
No.
Caliente Pockets. Like that's it. It's just Hot Pockets in Spanish.
Nice.
Beer. Okay.
He arrived staggeringly drunk to a Mothers Against Drunk Driving banquet where he was received for making over 100 DUI arrests.
Okay.
He was confronted by a supervisor who ordered him to return to his room and obviously forego the award. To make it clear, he did not drive drunk. He was staying in the hotel where the award was to be given to him and got drunk there and then walked.
Oh.
So technically, he's well within, like, he didn't break any laws. He's just incredibly insensitive.
So this is dumb. He should have been. Yeah. So it's like, oh, he was drunk after making all these DUI arrests, and it's like, yeah, but he wasn't driving under the influence.
Yeah, I absolutely think he should have gotten the award. I think it would have been fun.
He was walking under the influence. Because you can get drunk. I know this is hard for...
And of course this is in Florida. Like, let us all acknowledge that no one's shocked that this came out of Florida.
I know it's hard for a lot of 12-step people out there to imagine this, but it's like you can drink and have no, like, bad side effects besides maybe a headache or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not from the devil, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I absolutely agree.
Holy shit.
A giant sinkhole at a newly opened IHOP restaurant swallowed at least 14 vehicles.
A newly opened sinkhole. Jesus Christ.
But can they do something like pancake related to it?
Yeah, look at this.
Do you get like a long angular pancake that you can like fill like a tureen with syrup or something like that?
Sucks. Okay, so you and I are pretty used to like walking on the ground, right?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty used to that.
Imagine you get out of your fucking car and the entire parking lot just sinks. Jesus Christ, that'd be crazy. Oh boy.
Oh, this one, we already covered this last week. Everybody's heard about this. The Mizzou University guy that was basically forced to step down, I assume.
We may have heard of this.
Yeah, which is total bullshit. Absolute bullshit. But like all of the universities are apparently afraid of their students at this point.
There's two things that have happened in Missouri recently: the World Series and that.
Yeah, not surprised.
That's it.
The Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the coordinated attacks, left 129 people dead and hundreds injured in Paris. Way to end this at a real fun note, Cracked.
Yep.
Good job.
So France, tired of all this we give up shit all the time, they were like, we will fucking hunt down these motherfuckers. We will wipe them out.
Oh,
like
they fucked them up from what I hear. Like they what do you call it? Like there were like bombs going off and shit. Like they were blowing shit up.
I mean, it wasn't a 9/11, but it was fucking.
No. I mean, like the French police were blowing shit up.
130 people. Good Lord.
Well, and then one lady was like, her son just did it out of stress. He didn't mean to.
Oh yeah, he's sorry. He didn't mean to do it.
No, your son was a scumbag. Yeah. I'm sorry that happened. It's not fair to anybody, but dude was a scumbag.
Yeah, it's not even that like he was evil and everything he ever did was evil. It's like he did a really, really fucked up thing. Yeah. And you have to just admit that.
Accept it and move on. You know, be like, I'm really sorry for what my son did. I don't know what I did wrong in raising him, but you know, this happened and I'm really sorry. That's what you say.
Yeah.
You don't try to I mean, I understand why you would, because it's your kid. You want to defend your kid, but
yeah,
at a certain point, you just can't defend that behavior.
Because
I think that's after the first body hits the floor, really.
But it's this thing where it's like they're your baby, no matter how. It's like it's like he's 40 years old, and it's like he's still a baby to that person. And
yeah,
like,
no, I totally get it.
And it's like, okay,
I feel bad for her because that's not a position anybody wants to be in.
No,
because people are going to blame her because he's dead.
She's going to be tortured forever because she has to deal with like her son doing this, and then she has to wonder like, did I do something? Did I raise him improperly that made him?
And people are going to say mean, nasty shit to her, even though she didn't necessarily have anything to do with it.
Yeah. No, she's fucked. Her whole life is fucked. Her son just ruined her life, basically.
Oh yeah, it might as well be 130.
Yeah.
People died, not 129. But what was the thing I was watching? Oh, I was watching this thing with Sargon of Akkad talking to some idiot for like a 2.5 hour like conversation they do. He does like these live streams where he
I love that guy.
chats with people. But this guy was absolutely out of his fucking mind.
Oh yeah, I love those.
He was talking about how any form of government is tyrannical because they have the monopoly on violence over a given geographical area. That's what a government is. And I'm like, is he fucking retarded?
I mean, sure, that's one of the things that government has.
But it doesn't have a monopoly on violence.
Well, they're like...
Anybody can get a rifle and shoot somebody else. It's not a monopoly.
Well, legally, they're allowed to shoot people.
They're allowed to legally, but that's not the same thing as having an actual monopoly. I mean, you look at these third world countries where they get overthrown every other week. Well, clearly, that's not a true statement.
Well, sure, but they want to have a monopoly, basically. He's saying, by definition, by wanting that, they're trying to have a monopoly, and that's therefore evil. And it's like, I don't even necessarily agree with that.
Well, it's like he was saying.
I don't agree that every and all monopolies are necessarily evil, just de facto. Like,
yeah,
sure,
my issue with that is if
people
can rise up against you, you don't have the monopoly. You know what I mean? Like, there's always the possibility that if you go too far, the people can rise up and overthrow the government.
Yeah, and
historically, that's happened over and over.
He's saying from a legal perspective, like you're not.
No, he wasn't saying from a legal perspective. He was saying from a moral perspective.
Oh, well, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
From a moral perspective, it's basically whatever the culture agrees to let the government do. Like,
yeah.
That's basically
but here's where it gets really good. I'm not even done describing the fucking weirdness that this guy was talking about.
Yeah.
He was. Give me a sec.
Gather yourself.
Yeah. He was saying that instead of a government, we should just have people who agree to follow rules. And no one should be held accountable to something they haven't agreed to be judged for.
Okay, so I can just not agree to be judged for murder.
You can't kill people,
and I can go out and kill people, and that's cool.
And then what he was saying would enforce the rules is people would get together in groups and agree to follow rules.
Yeah, almost like a government or a culture.
He's describing a government.
Yeah, he's describing the thing
like,
that
nobody would come and attack you because you and your friends would all agree to defend each other and follow a certain set of rules.
Well, it's like these people.
That's a fucking government.
It's
dummy.
Like the people that are like, we need to just abolish money, and then it's like, but we can still like trade each other stuff, and let's say if like I don't have the stuff you need, maybe I can like give you a piece of paper that says that you own that stuff now, and they're basically recreating a monetary system as they're talking about dissolving it. And
I mean, there's a lot of things that are wrong with the way we use money.
Sure.
And there are a lot of laws that need to be changed, like tax laws and laws governing like investments and finances and stuff like that in this country, especially.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that money in and of itself is a terrible idea.
But these people go that direction and say money is inherently evil.
Yeah.
And it's like
the important thing to remember is that money is inherently imaginary. And you have to be really, really careful because it's easy to manipulate because of that.
Yeah.
It's hard to fool somebody when you're holding a chicken. You know, it's hard to be like, no, really, this is a cow.
Yeah.
But when all you have is like money and paperwork to go with, it's really easy to make somebody think that this swampland is really worth investing in and defraud someone out of like a lot of money.
Sure. But that's not the money's fault.
Yeah, exactly. But that has nothing to do with the money. That has everything to do with the way that it works and what laws we've made to govern the use of it, so that it, what can you get recompense for?
Money is all imaginary. Like if the government goes down and no one's willing to accept that money anymore, then you have green colored paper.
Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely. Well, it's fairly soft. You could wipe your ass with it.
Sure.
It did make a great toilet paper substitute.
And you could probably burn it in the woods if you get cold or something.
Well, and Germany, I think directly after World War II is a prime example of yeah, money is imaginary, because if there's nothing there, nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
You know, the farmer's not going to give you the meal out of his kid's mouth because you have paper.
Yeah. It stands for goods and services, but it's like, if people need that shit, they're not going to trade it for paper.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But I just thought the guy was like out of his fucking mind. He was really, really intellectually dishonest, and he just kept trying to fast talk his way out of like really obvious flaws in his logic.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have to.
It was really funny. It sounded a lot like the sovereign state people in the U.S.
Yeah.
Or sovereign citizen or whatever. I am a sovereign citizen. I make my own rules. Nobody can enforce rules against me. Blah, blah, blah. That kind of nonsense. Because I've declared it. Legally, it must be so.
I read an article where this guy had decided that he was sovereign, right? And if a police officer stopped him, then the police officer would owe him $25,000 for every question. And so he's like talking with the police officer, and he's just like, "You're racking it up." Police officer like, "I'm going to charge you $50,000 after the end of this conversation." And the police officer's like, "You're nuts. You're under arrest now." They're like, "You can't do this."
Yeah, you can.
It's like, he just did.
Technically, he could say he's going to charge the cop all he wants, and it's not illegal. But the cop also gets to hold him for 48 hours without charging him. So,
he was like basically resisting arrest at that point.
Oh, was he? He was crossing that line. Yeah.
Once
you've been placed under arrest, go with the cop. If it's a false arrest, you can deal with that later. But
I think it was a lady. She had never had a driver's license.
Was driving around anyway, so of course he has to arrest her. Yeah.
He was like driving cross country with her daughter or something, and they're like, "You can't do that."
Yeah, it's reckless endangerment of a child and driving without a license. And absolutely, they're going to arrest you for it.
But she's sovereign.
Yeah, but it's the same basic concept as like the wackos.
Yay!
It had that same fervor to the conversation where you're just like, this guy's out of his fucking gourd. But man, it's just entertaining. Yeah, it's like. And then occasionally Sargon has to like interrupt and be like, "Can I just finish the point I'm making?"
Yeah.
You're coming up with all this dissembling stuff and you're obfuscating and I'd like to finish my point.
Yeah. Let me finish one single point before you completely ignore it and go.
Yeah, straw manning. He did a lot of straw manning. Sargon would start making a point and he'd be like, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, that had nothing to do with my point, but okay. That's nice. Well, Sargon's patience is like infinite. I have a lot of respect for that aspect of what he does.
I think you have to be like that in order to like feel like you can still be justified in your position after having a real conversation. I feel like you have to go into crazy rant mode to like psychologically defend yourself from the incoming attacks on your position.
It depends. I mean, if you're having a debate, you're going to have to keep calm, or no one's going to, even if you're right, people are probably going to like not believe you anymore.
Sure.
You know, people are just going to be like, all right, crazy, whatever. Damn it. I just completely lost that train. Thought my car passed Smog today. Yay.
His train is gone.
Yeah, the train is gone. But it turns out, like in California now, if you have an OBD2 computer, which is like I think 2002 or newer car,
okay,
they don't actually run your car and like put it on the little thingy that spins the wheels.
Okay,
it's a dynamometer. In case somebody thinks I'm dumb, but I like to call it the little thingy that spins the wheels. Where they like check your smog with like a little fucking sensor. They stick up the tailpipe of the car and stuff. Now they literally just hook it up to a computer, run it for like 5 or 10 minutes, and just the computer diagnoses the car itself. Like your onboard car computer keeps your smog info. So all they got to do is basically just read it, and they're like, "All right, you're good."
Yeah, that's not really a surprise.
Yep, $45 too, so I can't complain.
Yay! Never had to do that before.
Really, they don't smog in Montana, Missouri, or Michigan, or whatever the fuck M state you live in.
Mississippi.
Maine.
Yeah, Maine.
Nope. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Never heard of that.
They don't smog check. Weird. Okay, that's kind of disturbing.
Is it? Because I don't think we have the smog that you have in California.
Well, I just think they should check emissions on cars everywhere. Like cars should be like getting lower emissions, like
Yeah.
every period of time.
Oh, well, I'm sure that they enforce the rules where it's like any new car has to be under these. But I don't think we don't have smog to the point where it's like dangerous to people's health. I don't think.
Well, I mean, the environment itself kind of demonstrates that we all have that problem with the smog, even if you're not the ones making it.
Yeah, but there's a difference between living in a Chinese city and living.
Oh yeah,
not
yeah.
in a
But the
Chinese
problem
city.
is like the pollution from China is going to be affecting us.
Sure.
Like, eventually, it will be. It's wearing holes in the ozone. That doesn't
Yes.
just stay over China.
And that's why the most areas that are producing the most stuff are going to have the most restrictions on it.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying we should all be
That makes sense to me.
well, because we can't restrict China, but we can restrict what we do. Shouldn't we be working as hard as we can to restrict it as much as possible? That's my point.
Sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree. I just
yeah.
I know why we don't have to do smog emission checks because we don't have as much.
who's going to be willing to go and pay
smog.
$50 every other year for that stuff?
The
problem is, okay, so
I just think there's a lot more smog in California because there's more people.
well, the other problem is a lot of smog shops are really dishonest. So you'll go there and they'll make something up so that they can charge you like an extra $20 or $30 to test it again later.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, this is bad. You got to go do this.
Oh, that's fucked up. They should. The smog check should be treated exactly like an inspection, a safety inspection, where if you get the thing fixed and you come back within 30 days, you get the inspection for free.
Well, it's all done by private people that are licensed.
Well, that's shit.
So they earn the license and it's all done by private people. So in a way, I don't really agree with the smog checks the way that they do them as it is. I think it should be a government thing where you go in, you make an appointment, you get your car checked, and then that's how it works.
Well, even because a safety inspection is government endorsed, but you can get it done at a private shop.
Oh, see, I think they should do that at like a government shop.
But if you get it done at a private shop and you pay for the inspection, you get a free re-inspection.
Yeah, I think it should happen at a DMV like thing.
Then there's no incentive for them to be like, oh, all this stuff is broken. You'll have to come back so we can charge you, another inspection.
Yeah, that's the problem with the smog. It's that they can absolutely charge you more money for another inspection.
That's fucked up.
Yep.
It should be treated.
Well, their reasoning for it is then you're more motivated to have it ready and fixed all the time, so that you don't have to go and get stuff fixed every time you get tested, which is absolutely stupid.
And they're more motivated to rip people off.
Yeah, that's the big issue. Like one of my issues is that if your check engine light has a code, they'll automatically fail you. And I'm like, but that might not necessarily affect your emissions. It's like they should be checking what emissions you're putting out and basing it off of that and that alone.
Yeah.
Like either you are polluting or too much or you're not.
Yeah.
But that's not how it's done. Like
and a
if
check engine light is something for a safety inspection or
well, in California, a lot of the codes are related to smog. So like O2 sensors and stuff like that in your tailpipe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what that is or not.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They hurt.
Wait, what?
I put O2 sensors in my tailpipe all the time.
So in a California car, I don't know if they do this everywhere else, but the O2 sensor tests what your oxygen to unburnt fuel ratio is coming out of your tailpipe.
Yeah.
So if it's broken, it won't adjust the fuel mix going into your engine to the correct amounts to keep it from putting out too much.
Yeah.
And that's a code that I totally understand wanting to force people to repair, but if it's not actually polluting too much, then shouldn't that still pass? That's just, my opinion. But yeah, it's just fucking, there's a lot of it that basically is just for money.
Unless it causes a problem, it should be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what we're getting to.
Yeah, we both agree with that.
Okay. What the fuck?
6 true stories that prove local news is creepy as hell.
Oh, I believe this.
Wiggling terror fish are falling from the sky in Alaska.
Yeah. That's something out of my nightmare.
They're called Demon Tube.
Sure. I buy that.
I can't argue with that name.
I say hi, land fuckers. What does that say? I can't read
I don't know. Yeah, it's just Highland fuckers.
Okay.
Uh,
So is this like an eel that like latches?
Arctic lampreys is what they are. Okay, thank you. But they're also apparently referred to as demon tubes, I guess.
They're from the devil.
Yeah.
But they look like do they just suck up bacteria, or do they like?
They just attach to other fish and suck out the blood, little bits of blood.
So they're leeches.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, they're like ocean leeches.
Sure. Demon tubes.
Number 5, family finds old box in attic containing a treasure map and a human hand.
And a fucking ring on the fucking hand. Holy shit. So are they gonna follow the treasure map or like?
Hold on. The quote under the fucking hand: "Be thankful, kids, we didn't have blow up dolls and fleshlights. We had to make do."
Oh my god.
That's so creepy.
I feel like they should.
Little saddle soap, that'll get all nice and soft and flexible, right?
I feel like a bunch of kids should take this and go on some adventure to save their neighborhood.
Yeah. Find some really weird, deformed guy that'll
maybe meet up with a giant retard strong guy.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys.
It actually says here it's the gritty setup for the Goonies reboot that ends with 7 children on a milk carton.
Oh, hey.
That's hilarious, man.
Fucking Goonies reboot.
Miracle Baby saved by a mysterious voice.
Miracle Baby.
Didn't read this article, so I'm kind of scanning it now.
Whoops. We're unprepared.
Oh, so it happened at 10:30 in the evening. Wreckage was not discovered until 12:30 p.m. the next day. The mother didn't make it. The child was barely hanging on upside down and still strapped into her car seat.
So Miracle Baby, all that happened was the mother was fucking killed. Isn't that a miracle?
There was apparently a voice coming out of nowhere that somebody followed to find the kid.
Sure. Like a crying baby voice or like...
Yeah, it turns out that once the rescuers made the way to the accident, they heard a voice calling to them from inside the overturned car. Yeah. They specifically said it was an adult voice asking for help, and the child's mother had been dead for a while.
I hear this shit all the time.
Yeah, that seems like
I'm from like a really religious area, and I've seen this happen where the thing will happen and it'll play out, and then later on,
suddenly there will be like all these other parts of it.
As they're recalling the story, then oh yeah, didn't you hear the voice too? And then everyone's like, oh yeah, I heard it too. Because because if you didn't hear the voice, that means you don't have enough faith, and you can't do that. So,
I absolutely agree with you.
I see how those stories pop up. I hate.
And it's Utah, so I'm not at all shocked. That's a big Mormon area.
It's the Mormon state. Yeah.
So wow, burglar finds decomposing bodies inside home, along with pages of suicide notes and no clear cause of death.
And then
he actually called himself in.
Yeah, because then he's like, "Oh, I could go to jail for murder."
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to do that either.
I'd rather just go to jail for burglary.
Although, to be honest, like, if you just cleaned up after yourself real well, you'd probably never get caught.
Sure, but what if
one
day they come to your house and like, where were you this night? And it's like, oh, I was there and I saw the dead bodies, and whoops.
Yeah.
Like, that could turn out bad.
Wow. So apparently it wasn't poison?
Not the type of poison that authorities can detect after 2 months, at least.
Yeah, so it might have been something that just dissipated. But there was there was absolutely no chance that the violence was involved.
Death
so
by candlestick was ruled out. Colonel Mustard's off the hook.
Well, they were making sure the guy didn't do some sort of violent punishment to him or something like that.
Sure.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
It was hilarious.
Couples receive photos of themselves watching Netflix taken from their laptop's camera.
Now this doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, it's not that hard to hack into people's laptop cameras, though.
Exactly, which is why my shit is either unplugged or covered up.
Yeah, you never leave your laptop camera activated or activatable.
Because I mean, just having it on your computer, it's like a laptop camera. You can't get rid of it. If
Oh
someone
wow!
has,
So Mohammed Abdu from Cairo, Egypt, is the culprit.
come on, dude, that's racially insensitive.
Mahmoud,
You can't just say his
Abdu?
name like that.
Whatever. But yeah, so some dude in Egypt was doing that essentially.
Hey, why you gotta hate Egyptians?
Oh wait, the guy was somebody the couple knew and not from Egypt at all. Oh no, they're not going any further with that. Never mind. That's just dumb. Okay.
I just think it's like I don't like the idea of a camera wired into an electronic device and I can't connect it or I can't disconnect it.
Well, at least they didn't get like pictures of them fucking.
Yeah, sure. Then
Well,
I would
that's
have
the benefit of desktop over laptop.
Then I would have been
Everything
interested.
has to be portable and connected. In the desktop, it's not. So
Well, this is not a new concept because people have like you can go on Amazon and find like laptop camera cover. Like there's like specially designed things just for
oh
this.
yeah. Well, but you just get a fucking roll of masking tape and you're good to go.
That's what I do.
Lawn statue stock family.
Sure.
For one California family, they found out that while one is company, dozens is a creepy ceramic assault.
Okay.
So they stepped out one morning to find a couple new yard companions, a group of ceramic garden statues. So they thought it was a harmless prank. But then more and more statues kept coming. From July to August, over 50 statues turned up, ranging from garden gnomes to lions and bunnies. Not all of them were in good condition.
Yeah.
Many were broken and chipped.
This is garbage that someone was going to throw away. And they're like, hey, let's play a funny joke. And now other people are probably like, hey, let's do it too. So now this shit will never end for them, probably.
Here's one where a woman woke up to find garden gnomes like arranged as though an attacking army on her path to her home.
What would you do if that happened? If you saw an army of gnomes at your front door, would you just start taking
Just
the shit
shut
out
the
of them?
back door. Just shut the front door and go out the back. Just be like, all right, done.
I think I'd get a hammer or something.
Take out the gnomes.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey,
and,
I think we did it.
we did it. We did it. We didn't even go through all the articles.
Yay.
But see, I had a much better, I think, array of articles. I actually took time to look up fun ones.
Oh, yeah. My articles.
Usually I do it last second, and I'm just like, shit.
My
Look at
articles.
somebody else. Somebody else did YouTube videos and talked about these articles. All right, I'll do that.
You're
Oh,
breaking
man.
the fourth wall here.
What, that I'm lazy? I don't think anybody's surprised about that. So,
It's
hey, you never bring any articles, so you can't complain.
I have brought articles at
Have you
times.
really?
Yeah. There's been at least 4 or 5 times in the last
Oh,
50
oh,
episodes.
this last one is just a real quickie that is just like ridiculously funny SJW behavior.
Okay. We'll do it.
Houston press writer Jeff Runner tweets picture of his own daughter to self-confessed pedophile. So if you've heard of, we'd covered Sarah Nyberg before, where like they found enough information that she's very obviously like a pedophile
Yeah.
and has participated in like taking on pictures of kids without their being aware of it, and like has tried to
Yeah.
sexually engage children.
Yeah. I heard about that.
So far, as we know, like never successfully, other than like talking via the internet.
I mean, she's
But this
self-confessed.
sicko fuck actually sent pictures of his daughter to cheer her up.
So he's like, hey,
Like,
you can masturbate to my daughter.
yeah, here's a cute picture of my kid in her new Chewy hoodie. Hope it cheers you up.
So that's why would he do that again?
Because he's an SJW and she's an SJW, so he thinks that it's cool to like back her whatever, I guess.
So this
I
is
just thought I'd throw that in there because it's so gross. It's just
so
such
this
a
is the
stupid,
danger
crazy
of
thing.
the dogmatic cult mentality where it's like,
Oh yeah,
oh, even though this person would victimize my child in a possibly irreparable way, I still have to support them because I got to toe the line.
Yep.
They're like Republicans or something.
Well, like Republicans used to be, because Republicans are shifting.
That's true.
Conservatives are shifting to be far more liberal than they used to be.
That is true.
And much less about, well, I think it's because they're getting a swelling in the party. Like, there's more people are joining the Republican Party because they're like, I'm sorry, the left wing has lost their goddamn mind. I can no longer support them.
Because both parties are a complete and utter disappointment now.
Yeah. Well,
to everyone in my generation, at least that I know of.
Yeah, I don't support either.
They're fucking, it's just a travesty. Like, this is it, people. This is what we've done with the great country that we had. People
are finally learning that it makes more sense to look at each issue individually and make a decision based on the facts of that issue. But without judging it based on like your party lines.
But that's hard work. It's easier to just fall in step with whatever you're told to believe.
Yeah, it's like, I don't believe in gun control, but I do believe in higher minimum wages. You know,
see, like, diversity for Republicans, I don't think that's going to help Republicans, because their strength was all about getting like the people to stand in lockstep with them. And it's like, when they don't have that, what do they have then?
I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Huh. I'm just hoping Bernie Sanders wins the Democratic primary. Because if it's Hillary Clinton, we stand the chance of getting an even worse, more corporate horror than Obama is, and that's pretty hard to imagine. Like, I'm also hoping the TPP doesn't pass, but I don't think our government gives a shit about the people's rights enough to not directly defy the Constitution and sign the TPP.
My problem is anyone capable of winning, I don't want to, and anyone who I would want to win would simply be incapable of winning.
Well, like Bernie Sanders?
Just like an honest person is intelligent, and
I think he's the closest to that that's running out of everybody.
I still
like Trump. I know everybody hates Trump, but I like him because it's better. It would be better than Hillary Clinton for sure. And at least it'd be an entertaining, like, ride to hell.
I just think Trump is insane. That's my problem with Trump.
It would be an entertaining ride to hell, you know?
Sure.
Like, we're already fucked. Let's make it funny.
But we don't have to be fucked.
It's like, if you're going to get raped anyway, might as well be by a clown.
That's what America wants right now for some reason. They want to be fucked. And so
I want Bernie Sanders.
We've limited our options.
Some of the financial issues.
We've literally limited our options to the worst options available. And
I think if we want to fix the government at this point, we basically have to just go into all the corporations and just execute the top 10%.
Good Lord.
I honestly don't see how you would be able to do it any other way. And you pretty much have to take out all their families too, so that they don't have that.
Well, see, here's the problem with that. Even if you do that, you still end up with a country full of fucking morons, and we're going to end up in the same situation again in a couple.
Oh yeah, but every so often, that's one of the things that the founding fathers were talking about, was that you should probably have a revolution every like 20 years.
Yeah, but if you can just
you should just overthrow the government every so often, because it's always going to get that way.
Yeah. But I think we can prevent it from getting that way if we don't, if people don't fuck it up so bad, and they care.
If we had better laws regarding,
but I don't know,
the education of children, so that ideologues weren't able to
poison
the educational system to teach their personal beliefs
and hijack,
as opposed to just teach knowledge, you know, like actual scientific data and like how to like think and learn.
Knowledge is looked down upon in some places at school.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just like,
I think that might be the way to like help prevent that kind of thing, is if schools were like, you couldn't bring your little religious ideology or your personal dogmatic ideology into school and force the school to teach that stuff.
Changing the hearts and minds of future generations. That's easy. We'll just do that.
Well, I'm saying if what you're talking about, that would make more sense than revolution.
That's what it takes, but I don't know if that's even possible.
No, it essentially every so often you basically have to have a form of uprising. There's really just no way around it.
No, you can just have like a refresher.
Yeah,
like, we're gonna reset now.
Absolutely. Okay. On that note, we're gonna end the broadcast.
We're gonna reset the show now.